For more than a decade, Frank Stitt's two restaurants, Highlands Bar and Grill and Bottega, have dominated the fine dining scene in Birmingham. The chef's amiable personality and business acumen keep him in the forefront of Southern cooking. He offers this array of spring vegetables.
So what we're doing today is a spring appetizer. Some grilled asparagus, some other spring vegetables that we're putting together in a way, to me, that is the essence of springtime. I love to cook with seasonal ingredients, and for me, for spring, asparagus probably comes first to mind. I grew up in Coleman, where we had beautiful asparagus from my grandmother's garden. We'd go out and pick, and it was one of our highlights of the year was from that first asparagus picking. So today what we're going to do is we've got these big jumbo asparagus. We've got these wild leeks, they're called ramps, and these are from the Appalachian Hills. These are just dug, and they have a nice onion and earthy essence. We've got some spring Vidalia onions, some just dug new potatoes, some baby artichokes, some morels. Now these are from the Northwest, but we're going to include them on our southern spring appetizer plate nonetheless. Some fresh chives and chive blossoms that we just picked out from in our garden. And we're also going to have a variety of fresh herbs. We've got some thyme and chives and dill and parsley and tarragon. And then we have some 25-year-old balsamico vinegar, shallots, lemon. And we're going to make a little appetizer with all of these spring ingredients. We're also going to serve some grilled wild yeast sourdough a friend of ours makes here. And we're going to top that with some goat cheese and some oil-cured olives. What we do with our asparagus, what you want to look for when you're buying asparagus are these firm, tight tips. As they get older, they start to separate. That one's not as pretty as this one. But you want to choose them when they're right now, when they're at their best. I cut off the bottom inch or so, and then I take a vegetable peeler, and we're going to peel just very lightly. We're going to peel these part of the way up, about a third of the way up. One thing that's good to do when you're working with vegetables is to think about rehydrating them. If they have been picked more than a day or so, you may want to just put them in a bowl of ice water before you cook them. And I think that's especially true with asparagus. And so what I've got are these, and you see just lightly peeled, and we're going to just put them in a bowl of water just for a little while.
The chef trims a baby artichoke.
Then we're going to leave some of the stem on, and this takes a little bit of practice to get this down. I know one of my first jobs interviewing for a chef in San Francisco, the French chef threw me an artichoke and said, "Trim it." I didn't know how to do it. I learned pretty fast, though. So let's just put this in our water. Then what we'll do is we'll drop this in some boiling salted water, like so.
8 to 10 minutes.
With our new potatoes, we've just boiled these until they're tender in salted water. I'm just going to remove some of the skin. In the spring, the new potatoes we start to get from Florida, and then they move up to Alabama, some Louisiana potatoes. But this is the time of the year when they are just dug, and they really are nice. You could use Yukon Gold potatoes. You could use purple potatoes.
The potatoes are seasoned with salt, a little olive oil, dill, thyme, and chopped chives.
One of the things I think I've learned from the Italians and from the people in the south of France is that they use vegetables a lot, and the flavor is often best at room temperature, marinated with just a little good olive oil and some fresh herbs. And if they're carefully grown and carefully cooked, it's just wonderful to take that kind of attention to detail for simple things like this. Now then, with these spring, and these are actually a spring onion that can either be from Texas or South Georgia, and they're sweet. They're not too strong. Sometimes we'll grill them, sometimes we'll roast them.
The onions are quartered and go into a small saucepan.
If you were to use butter for this, and you were to serve it, perhaps had some left over and serve it cold the next day, it wouldn't be so good. So what we're going to do with all of this is we're going to use some olive oil, and that way, if you do have some left over the next day, it's much better than cooking anything or using any butter.
A simple vinaigrette starts with cracked pepper.
We have some balsamic vinegar. I'm going to add some fresh chives to this. And also a little bit of fresh thyme. And you always want the salt and pepper to dissolve in the vinegar or the lemon juice first. You may put a little fresh shallot in there. And with this, what I've done is chosen a flavorful but delicate olive oil. This is from Liguria. There's wonderful olive oil from Spain and from the south of France and Italy and Greece and all over the Mediterranean. But this Ligurian olive oil I especially like.
Meanwhile, the morel mushrooms are sautéed in olive oil. The asparagus is blanched in boiling, salted water. The cooked artichokes are halved, scraped, and seasoned with olive oil, chives, salt, and pepper. The artichokes are added to the potatoes and slices of Roma tomatoes. The blanched asparagus is plunged into an ice bath.
Just smash these black olives, remove the pit.
The grilled bread is topped with goat cheese and the chopped black olives.
Whisk up our vinaigrette.
Most of the elements are ready. Note the ramps or wild leeks in the foreground of the plate. They were blanched for about 30 seconds. Just before presentation, the blanched asparagus is quickly grilled.
Just going to toss these together once again. The baby artichokes. Chive blossom. So this is a hearty, wonderful springtime vegetable appetizer with just the flavors of springtime.